welcome all the delegates and guests for post-lunch session. Our third speaker is Professor Dr. Mahesh T. Chabaria. He shall be speaking on new drug design, thought to drug candidate. I request Dr. Tejal Gandhi to please introduce sir.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, all delegates. Uh, Dr. Professor Dr. Chabaria is MPharm PhD and Fellow of Indian Chemical Society. Currently, he is working as a principal at LM College of Pharmacy. Having more than 3 decades of his academician and research experience, Sir had published more than 79 publications, research and review articles in various national and international reputed journals. He has presented more than 82 his research presentation at different scientific forum also. There are 9 patents on credit of Dr. Chabaria. He has also published one international book chapter. Uh, he received research grant of 83 lakhs, and he has completed various industrial research projects of 20 lakhs. He received grant of rupees 8.36 crore for setting up Atal Incubation Center at LM College of Pharmacy from Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, New Delhi. He received grant of rupees 40 lakhs per year for 3 years from state government under Student Startup and Innovation Policy. He received CSIR fund of rupees 9.75 crore from industry. He supervised more than 132 students, PG students, and 7 students had completed their PhD research under his guidance. He received various accolades and achievements and honors. To name a few, he is a fellow of Indian Chemical Society and fellow of Gujarat Science Academy. He delivered more than 50 lectures at various scientific symposium at national and international level. He won several awards for research papers, presentation, and his research paper was also got this Hariom Ashram Prerit Prize for the best paper in pharmacy field in 2006-7. He had visited outside India also for scientific presentation. He has worked as a Senate member of Gujarat University for 2 terms. He was also reviewer for various international and national scientific journals as well as international projects also. He is member of admission committee for professional course of Gujarat government. He is nominated as Associated Dean Zone 1 Gujarat Technological University for 3 years from May 2018 onwards. He is Senate member nominated at NIPER Ahmedabad for 3 years. He is member of Board of Studies of Gujarat Technological University, MS University, Saurashtra University, Charuset, and various other university of Gujarat as well as outside Gujarat also. He is nominated as a member of Pharmacy Board of AICT for 3 years from 2020 to 2030. Nominated as a member of Syllabus Revision Committee for PharmD course by Pharmacy Council of India in February 2020. He is also nominated as a member of Syllabus Revision Committee for PharmD course by PCI in August 2020. So with this, and he is, we can say, renowned researcher in medicinal chemistry, working since last more than three decades in this area. With this brief introduction, I would like to welcome Sir for this third session of EFDP for the first day. Sir, welcome on this Atal sponsored AICT EFDP organized by Anand Pharmacy College, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation on behalf of Anand Pharmacy College and Sri Ramakrishna Seva Mandal. Sir, welcome, and session is hand over to you, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Tejal ma'am, for your kind words. Thank you, Hardik Bhai also. And I thank the management for giving me this opportunity to be part of this Atal AICT sponsored EFDP. As you see, the theme of this or the title of this EFDP is a design thinking principle in pharma product development. So whenever we are talking about the pharma product development, the pharma, obviously we think of first the API, the new drug, and the new drug which is to be converted into a product, and then it will go to the pharmacy itself. So obviously first step is to get a real active uh, pharmaceutical ingredient or the active chemical or a drug. Rather, I would say the chemical is a drug. So how this drug is designed, or how this drug is discovered. If I broadly cover everything in one, the new drug discovery and development is broadly divided into two parts. The first is the discovery part, and the second is the development part. So what we are going to talk here is specifically the first part, which is very important, conceptualizing the idea, the thought of a new drug for particular disease and come out as a drug candidate. I have used the word drug candidate specifically because till the drug is not converted into a drug, candidate is not converted into drug until and unless it come out as a product or a pharma product. So I'll share my presentation. Think is it visible?
Yeah, sir. Sir, can you please make it in a slideshow mode? Then it will be much better, sir.
Yeah, I had converted into the slide show only. Is it now?
Yeah, perfect, sir. Yeah, thank you,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said, the topic which I have chosen is a drug design. Now, being a medicinal chemist, definitely I have chosen the topic of designing or discovery part, the thought to drug candidate. Now, before we go to the how it's been designed, we should know why we need a new drug or what the status of new drug discovery. So earlier there was no drug discovery, there were, but the approaches were different. So we'll talk about in brief about the various approaches used for the new drug discovery earlier and what is now at present. What are the recent approaches? So discovery in the broad, if I define, the discovery of new chemical entity eliciting desired physiological response is a new drug discovery. It's a continuous and challenging process, and it was started a long time before. It's before 2700 before Christ. Now, next question, obviously, why do we need new drugs? And we have understood the importance of new drug even in this current pandemic era of COVID-19. So obviously, we need new drug to meet the unmet medical need for treating the new diseases COVID-19 is a very recent one. The Zika, PSC is benign spongiform encephalitis. Fortunately, this disease is not in human, but specifically I have taken over here because it's usually observed in cow. So this may transform or may come to the human anytime. So AIDS, Alzheimer's, obesity, we do not have the short treatment for this kind of diseases. To improve the efficacy of some drugs, specifically in the diseases like dementia, cancer, so target-specific drugs are needed with low side effects or low toxicity. The third important is to reduce the side effect. We know the gastric ulceration or gastric irritation caused by the NSAIDs, extrapyramidal by antipsychotics, sedative sedation caused by the anti-allergics. So to reduce the side effects, obviously you need new drugs. And very important to overcome the drug resistance. Specifically for our country, a concern is the MDR. A point of concern is MDR and XDR-TB. Now we're talking about TDR-TB also. So to overcome the resistance, you need to improve or to come out with a new drug. So downstream the health costs, specifically for the Alzheimer's and spinal injury, where longer duration treatments are needed to reduce the cost. Obviously, you have to go with the new drug or the drug is more effective so that you can reduce the treatment time. So cost of therapy, again, the cost to the individual and country, yes, specifically for India, TB, malaria are the disease of concern or the health concern. So usually in our country, these drugs are provided free of cost. So obviously you need to go for a real drug, a new drug, which costs are very low. And industry obviously continue with the discovery of new drug to sustain the industrial growth or industrial activity. These approaches are broadly classified into two: the before 1900 or up to the 1900 or 1960. The approach was known as the traditional approach. It is also known as SAR approach. And the second one, the more recent and advanced version of advanced approach is rational approach, which was introduced in the 1960. The third one, which I have written, is not documented in any other book, but which I consider is a modified of the mixed traditional approach. The mixed approach with the invent of or with the introduction of the combichem, combinatorial chemistry and high throughput screening. This approach, it is actually a traditional approach, but you can synthesize large number of compounds within one set and within short time, and you can screen large number of compounds in one set. So I would say there won't be a chance of missing any very important compound. What are the compounds are possible to synthesize? Synthesize all, though that is the traditional approach. But when Combichem and HDS is there, use that technique and do this thing. So that's why I use this title for that. It's the modified traditional approach or the mixed approach. And traditional approach, we know well, it was the random, no logic to start with. Random synthesis of the compound, these are not known, synthesize it, and anyone is doing any biological screening, antimicrobial or any other thing, antihypertensive, anything. So what you do is, yeah, I have compound, keep it for screening. If I am lucky, I'll get something. And if it is no, okay, keep it in a store. Simple. So the biological screening, if I'm giving that compound for the biological screening, and if I'm lucky, I'm getting any one compound as active. So that will become a hit for me. What I'll do, I'll take that compound and start modifying the compound around that basic structure. That's what I will be doing the SAR. I'll modify the basic structure or parent structure around that parent structure. I'll modify or change the substitutions and check its activity. I'll synthesize all this compound. So I'll remain in this loop, in this circle, till I get optimum potent compound or maximum potent compound. That will be my optimized lead molecule. But this optimized lead molecule is not a drug. It still is a drug candidate. It has to pass through all pharmacokinetic, dynamics, toxicity studies. So there are chances, more than 60% chances are there that drug may fail in the development stage. So this was the traditional approach. So in traditional approach, what happened? Drug fails in the development stage, may in phase 2, phase 3. Then there will be a huge loss. Now to reduce that, in rational approach, they are taken care of. We'll discuss about that later on. So in the traditional approach, it is mainly analog approach, mainly the hit or initiation, the base source remains from the natural. So plant, animal, microorganism, marine. So if any constituent of this natural source showed that some activity, they'll start working on that to get more potent compound or the compound with a different activity. It is totally based on the serendipity and intuition, no logic, no rational, based on the chemical structure of the lead. As I said, the parent structure will be modified and random screening of the large number of the compounds. If you are lucky, you will get activity anyone and move ahead in that direction. And as everything is random, chemistry will remain unusual. The various approaches were applied to modify the parent structure. The first is the homolog approach. If say suppose CH3 is there, next I'll think of CH2, CH3, next propyl, isopropyl, and so on. So I'll go on preparing a homolog of the lead molecule. Second one is a molecular disconnection or simplification. If I have the compound which is active and it is from the plant source, plants makes this secondary metabolite for its purpose only, for the plant only. But we are using it as a drug for us. And that may be a complex molecule. So what I do, I'll go on simplifying, I'll removing the one substituent of that molecule. I'll start disconnecting it or simplifying it and check its activity. If it is retained, then I'll say, yeah, this substituent is not required. And if activity goes down, so now this substitution is important, right? So that is a molecular disconnection approach. And third one is molecular addition. Simple example, if I say the morphine, it causes the addiction. Now, if morphines and CH3, the CH3, if I change it to allyl group, it becomes nalorphine. And nalorphine is used for the treating the morphine addiction, right? So activity completely changes if I go on change the substitution. And the last one is very important, which is used till today also, is isosteric replacement. Isoster is nothing but it is a substitutions or two molecules or two atoms which are having a same qualitative and quantitative similar electronic structure or electronic environment. Now this isosters will have it is expected that this isoster will have the similar kind of biological response. And if it shows the biological response same, that becomes bioisoster. So this is also used till date also in rational approach also. This is the third approach which I mentioned, is modified or model traditional approach. In this, just like traditional approach, you need compounds. Whether you're synthesized using combinatorial synthesis, whether you're done the even systematic design and synthesized molecules, natural product efforts, you have the extracts of the natural compound, whether as an isolated compound or as an extract itself, no problem. You can take that. The research compound collection, which you have found that this compound is not active in this particular activity and you have kept it in a store, you can take out that compound and use that compound for other activity also. Or multinational companies, they are purchasing the program. suppose you have published one paper with 40 compounds in it, and any multinational company who is interested in that compound, they'll approach you and ask for that compounds at least 50 milligram. And for each milligram, they'll pay you some dollars. So they purchase the program, but that compound will become the property of that particular company. So I'll take that compound over here, carry out the high throughput screening, which I can do the screening
Hello. Hello, sir. Hello, am I audible? Just wait for a minute. Might be there is some technical issue related with Google Meet, so I can contact the speaker.
Hardik sir, you are audible. Sir is not audible. સરની સાઈડ કંઈક થયું છે પ્રોબ્લેમ?
There is some issue related with the Google Meet application. Sir is joining within few minutes. Please stay tuned.
I had a talk with sir. He is again joining. Dr. Hardik, I had a talk with sir and he is joining. They have at LM College of Pharmacy some internet issue. So he is trying to resolve and he will join within 2-3 minutes. That's what he informed me.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Fine, fine.
Hardik sir, can you again please contact him?
Okay, ma'am. I will come.
Yes, sir has joined. Yeah. Sir, your mic is mute.
Again, someone has left the meeting. 1 minute.
There must be some internet problem at his place.
All delegates are requested to please remain connected. Sir will be joining soon.
Sir has already joined. Sir, your voice is mute. Please unmute your voice, sir.
I think we are not audible to him.
Yeah,
He is not unable to listen.
Now, sir is able, I think his voice is unmute. Yeah, sir. Now we are able to hear
Is it
you.
audible now?
Yeah, yeah, sir. Yeah, it is audible.
Yes,
sir.
yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir. You
Yeah,
can
just a minute.
continue.
I'm sharing my
Yeah, sir.
presentation. Is it visible?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Not yet.
Sir, if you can mail us, then we can share on your behalf.
Sir,
Yeah,
may
just a minute.
I have already the presentation of Sir, madam.
Sir, if required, then Dr. Hardik can share on your behalf. There may be some internet connectivity problem, so maybe present. Yeah,
No,
yeah. Now,
no presenting.
yeah, perfect.
Now it is seen. It is seen now.
Sir, Hardik sir can share your slides. Sir?
No, I made some changes in this. That's why I wish to.
Okay, okay. Because I think your connection internet bandwidth is not supporting.
Yeah, I think so. There is some problem in.
Because video and that for uploading you need internet bandwidth.
Yeah. Is it now visible? Is it?
Not yet, sir. No, sir, we are not able to see.
Just a minute. Hello.
Now it is coming. Yes, sir. Presentation for दिख रहा है. There is nothing like screen.
Internet connectivity is not supporting. Sir, your mic is mute. Sir, please unmute your mic. Yeah.
Yeah.
but your presentation we are not able to see, sir.
I am joining through my mobile also at present. Let's see.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Sir, you have to present your. You have to start your presentation in phone. Sir, you are mute. So till time mute, sir.
I started presentation, but it's
So the may I share
getting activity.
if possible?
Yeah. Otherwise, you start. Whatever is there, we'll discuss it. Okay. No issue.
Sir, whatever changes you can at least mention that these are the
Yeah.
changes.
Okay.
Please share
Okay.
that slide. Because his sir's voice is very clear, so there must be some bandwidth issue only.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hardik bhai still ahead, yeah. Sir, are you able to see this?
Yeah. That's fine.
Perfect. Sir, from this...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hardik bhai, please. Yeah. Sir is starting. Yeah. Sir. Yeah, over to you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for this technical glitch. And we are talking about the rational approach. It's different than the traditional approach because we wish to go with the logic. Whatever we wish to do, or new drug discovery or new drug designing, we should have the logic behind that. And for that, obviously, first you have to conceptualize the idea and then use the databases available. They use the or you start mining the data, whatever is available, specifically for the, say, what are the target you have fixed, You start collecting the data for that particular target, what is known, what is in the pipeline, and what is unknown, and which specific point you want to address, you want to overcome. Then and then you should go for the designing of that drug. We'll discuss about that each in separately, why, how, why, and how. So using all these techniques and obviously keeping the whole team in center, you can design a new hit, new molecule with predicted biological activity. You have predicted its biological activity, it is going to have this biological response. So what you will do, you start synthesizing it first, then screen it. So here there won't be only one molecule. Obviously, you will be designing a one particular parent structure and the different substitutions around. So say around 40 to 50 compounds you synthesize over here. You screen it, and in the screening, if you are getting the desired biological response, then you can say that whatever I used the techniques for the designing, that is correct one. I should go ahead with the same model, design model for designing of a still more potent molecule or new drugs. And then that will be your heat molecule. You'll synthesize some new molecules, which would be a lead, and then you'll start modifying the lead molecule using quantitative structure activity relationship. Obviously, you'll design it, predict its biological response, go back to the original table, check this biological response is more or higher or more potent than the existing one. If it is yes, then your suggestion would be go ahead. Then this lead molecule again will be synthesized, screened, and you'll remain in this lower loop till you get the optimum potent molecule. So that will be a lead optimization. And that lead molecule, it may be one or it may be more, one or two. Nowadays, companies are taking more drugs to ahead, molecules ahead, so that if any one fails, the other persists. So this lead molecule will be your drug candidate. So this is the rational approach. We'll see in detail and in depth of each one in next slides. Next, please. So the path is another graphical way. Rather, the first is the target identification. You have to identify the target. Why I wish to target this particular either enzyme, either ion channel, either receptor, anything. So this would be your first thing. You have to identify the target. The question here is what biomolecule can be a target. Now this target identification always, obviously, you have to keep many things in mind. We'll discuss that part in the next slides also. So for target identification, you have to again, as I said, you have to do the data mining. What is reported? What is in the pipeline? And what I want to address? Everything has to be answered in the first stage. Then you move ahead. So target identification, not only that, it's a target validation. That target is a correct target that particular disease. Rather, I would say before target identification, you should go for the disease which you want to target or which you want to cure. So disease, then the target, which target I wish to target, then that validation of that target, whether that target is a correct and specific target for that particular disease or that particular organ rather. So that validation and the final target finalization, you can use a various drug designing tool to design a hit molecule. Which compounds can bind. So based on the binding sites, based on the data available. Suppose you identify a target, but that target's protein structure is not known. So can I design a molecule for that target or not? You can. But obviously, the other thing should be there. Other means there should be a data available where the scientists have used this particular target or what target for treating that particular disease, right? So molecules which has been used for target using treating the disease using this target has to be selected, and that has to be used for pharmacophore modeling or for quantitative structure activity relationship that will give you a new hit or new lead molecule. So that hit molecules has to be converted into a lead molecule, and that heat will be a one molecule. A heat molecule means which doesn't have the required biological response. It is going, say, I want to find out the inhibition, percentage inhibition. The heat molecule may have only 40% inhibition. Now my target is go up to 90%, right? So that heat molecule has to be converted into a lead molecule. My lead molecule will be having around 90-95% of inhibition. So that heat molecule can be converted into lead molecule using varied techniques like QSAR and QSPR, quantitative structure property relationship or quantitative structure activity relationship. Now here, one important thing you have to keep in mind, you have to also check, obviously the quantitative structure activity relationship will give you or improve the potency, but simultaneously you have to also check, I won't say the drug likeliness, you should check the drug likeliness even before going ahead, before going for the synthesis, you should check the drug likeliness of your design molecule. Nowadays, softwares are available which can predict the drug likeliness of your design molecule. Same way, you can predict the toxicity. That's good. That's great. You can predict the toxicity also, whether this toxicity is a liver toxic or not, whether it's a cardiotoxic or not, whether it will be producing a gastric irritation or not. So that can also be predicted before going for the next stage. So you remain here again in this loop till you get the optimized lead molecule, and that optimized molecule will be taken further for preclinical, then the clinical trials, then for the all official or formal approvals from the drug authorities, and that can go to the pharmacy itself. This is a path of drug discovery. But if you see the light yellow color cubes, they are the development stage. They are the development, and the light blue is the discovery part. Next, please. So this drug design, I won't say that drug designing is a job of only one person. No, it's a multidisciplinary approach. Many disciplines are involved in. So always in conceptualizing idea, the medicinal chemists, organic chemists, or molecular biologists, biophysics, they are there to conceptualize a new idea and move ahead. Then when they make these molecules or compounds, obviously a crystallographer, a crystallography spectroscopy person, they are always very important. And then for the next development stage, biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics experts are always very important. And obviously nowadays, in the recent time, computer always remain in the center, because nowadays AI and ML based many softwares, tools are available. So using tools, you can improvise or you can make the drug discovery more successful. Or success maybe more when we go through more logical or using the tools. Next. So first step is the target identification. Obviously, you have to think about what is the market demand. If I am in India, I will think of the disease for which the India is concerned about. Obviously, the local disease, And then if you want to address the global, you can think of what is the market demand. Obviously, at the end, you wish to earn out of your hard work, right? So next important, when you target, you identify the disease you want to target, and the target is also been identified. Then the next important is the database, the data mining. So there, the bioinformatics, cheminformatics, the chemistry, the pharmacognosy, the natural source, if you want to use the molecular biology or the pharmacology, the screening methodologies, they are also, that data are also very important. You have to collect, properly interpret, study the reported data, and then design for the newer one. The very important is intensive literature search. It is very important for designing or for starting any new project. What is the current global status in that particular area for that particular target? And very important is, do you have that expertise and the facilities available in your lab or around you? Now the even world is very small for, so any target you can and collaborate with any other person also. And very important question is whether your contribution in this field would be useful or marketable. That is to be answered first. Next. So when I'm talking about the target, what are the target or what is the market situation, conditions, or the drugs with which targets are predominant? So here it's clearly observed that the enzyme inhibitors are having the more higher sales, is more than 50%. Ion channels 16%, nuclear receptor 10, and GPCR also is gaining up. Now they are also 18 to 20% they have reached. Next. So how many or what new targets are available? Now we know well that the human genome is already been deciphered in 2003. So what they report is the total genomes or genes available are 1,000 or more than that. And out of that, the druggable genes are around 3,000. And out of that, only 500 targets have been used or exploited to treat the disease. So a lot of space is available. So anyone can explore that particular area also to find the targets for specific disease. Next. So next is the lead identification. Again, I'd say the database is very important. Work done in that area which you have selected. You have to use the drug designing tools. Drug designing tools are very important here. The SBDD, structure-based drug designing, and the ligand-based drug designing. As I said, the what data you have, or data is available with you. You can use any and select any methodology, SBDD or LBDD. Then you have to, based on that, you have to find out the chemical structure of the lead, and then you can synthesize this large number of molecules which you have designed using combinatorial chemistry and screen them through high throughput screening also. Next. Then what are the chemical or the lead you have identified? Obviously, you have to synthesize it. You have to generate it. Now, for generation of that, you have to follow the chemistry. So for chemistry, again, you have to go back to the database, how this kind of compounds are being synthesized, whether this compound is being synthesized or not. You have to check the novelty of that molecules also, right? So how this compound can be synthesized. So you have to refer even reaction files. You have to define the route of synthesis. It may be possible that this compound may be possible to synthesize through more than one route. So which route will be easier one, economic one? You have to finalize it. And then synthesize a library of compound means group of compounds of the same molecules. That is called a library also. Through combinatorial synthesis, you can synthesize that molecules. Now before synthesis, I said, after designing, you should do the virtual screening. Based on the virtual screening only you have done the designing. But after designing molecule, you should also check its drug likeliness. Softwares are available. You check its drug likeliness, which follows the Lipinski rule of 5. If your molecule follow that, and then your compound may have the drug-like properties, then you can move ahead. And if any molecule is going out of that, you have to reject or remove it. Then synthesize the compound and screen it. So next, please. Now you have the lead molecule in hand, but our ultimate goal is to optimize that lead. You have to hit the bullseye, means the maximum, optimum, potent, and safe molecule, right? So that's our ultimate goal. Next. So next, what you have to do to achieve the optimized lead, you have to modify the lead molecule, the parent structure, using this technique. LBDD or SBDD you can use. Modify it. Now for modification, generally used methodology is the QSAR. The usually used conventional 2D QSAR can also be used, or you can use structure-based design also. Does there is any gap between molecule and the target? Shall I fill that gap to get more potent compound? So that kind of study, that kind of ultimate interpretation you have to do through this studies. So SBDD and LBDD will help you in modifying the molecule, and at the end we'll get the optimum potent molecule, one molecule or maybe more, and that will be your optimized lead molecule. Last two steps can be repeated to get optimum potent molecule. Next, please. So that optimized lead molecule, as I said, will be your drug candidate. So this drug candidate has to pass through the development phase also, which is, as I said, is a 60 to 65%. So it has to pass through the pharmacokinetics, dynamics, other regulatory procedures, and that then if it passes through all these things safely, that becomes a drug candidate. Next. Now this drug designing techniques or approaches are of two types. So that rational drug designing is of two types, ligand-based drug design, and second one is structure-based drug design. Now what is ligand-based drug design? Now ligand-based drug design is any molecule or any drug, any chemical which is reported as a biological active. If you are using that data for designing a new molecule, that is ligand based or structure based. Structure based. The ligand based means chemical structure based designing, right? So where the protein structure, target's protein structure is not known, if it is unknown, then what to do? You have to go for the ligand based drug design. If molecules are known, use that for generating a pharmacophore or for QSAR purpose also, and go ahead. Second very important method is structure-based drug design. The structure of target is known. Its binding sites is known. Then you can use that for designing a new molecule. That is known as structure-based. Structure-based means protein structure is known, target structure is known. Then go for structure-based. If it is known, not known, but there are molecules or chemicals, the chemical structures are there which are having activity on that particular target, can be used for further designing. Next. So this is again the same computer-aided drug designing, two types: structure-aided drug designing, ligand-based drug designing. And in ligand-based drug designing, as I said, if chemical structure is known, acting on the particular target, you can exploit it to design new molecules. Two methodologies are there under LBDD. One is pharmacophore modeling, and second one is QSAR. So pharmacophore is nothing. You are generating a structure, a cage around, a basic cage required for any molecule or any structure or frame to bind to the particular target or to have the particular activity that is being designed or generated by the LBDD. The structure-based drug design, where the binding site is known, how to can identify that binding site? There are methodology to identify, or when the protein structure of the target is known, and if that target is a co-crystal structure. Now, what is co-crystal structure? Means the ligand bound target. Any ligand is already available in present in that target, that is called co-crystal structure. So what simply you have to do is remove that ligand bound to that target and check your molecule bind to that particular binding site. So best would be co-crystal structure. That will reduce your labor to identify the binding site. But if it is not known, there are methodology to find out the binding site and find it out and then do the docking. Now docking is nothing. Docking is binding of ligand to the binding site. The process of binding the ligand to the binding site, right? So when it binds to the binding site, the algorithms, various algorithms will start calculating the distance between the ligand and the binding sites. And they give the output as a scores. You can have the huge output in terms of many things. But we are interested in binding score, right? So that distance, lower the distance, lower will be the binding score, higher will be the affinity of that molecule to that binding site. A good will be the binding of that molecule to the binding site. So that will become your, again, a hit molecule. So using that hit molecule, you can design now a new molecules. Design, and you design thousands of compounds. I'm saying design. I'm not saying synthesis. You design thousands of molecules and carry out the virtual screening. See here, the big pot is there. So there you can put a large number of molecules, whatever the possible drugs are, possible derivatives are possible of that hit molecule, you design it and send it through or pass it through virtual screening and check. Now here with the virtual screening, obviously you have to carry out the drug likeliness of that. If in the virtual screening, if you are getting say around 40 to 50 compounds which are showing a really good binding score, then you pass that all 40 to 50 compounds through Lipinski filter, Lipinski rule of 5 filter, or the drug likeliness filter. If out of that 50 compounds, 10 are out of the range, the normal range of the Lipinski rule, then you have to exclude that compound from synthesis, right? So after that compound selection, synthesize that, screen it, again remain in that. You can see the 2-3 arrows in that. You have to continue till you get. So you have to, here you have done the lead identification or lead identification, right? So you have to lead modify, lead generate, lead modified, then lead optimize. This optimized lead will be your drug candidate, and then you have to pass through the development stage, and that will become a new drug. Next, please. Here I want to show you that after virtual screening, very important here is this funnel, drug likeliness or lead like. So there, what is checked? Toxicity, and then pains, the pan-assay interaction studies. That is also very important, that compound which are showing the unexpected interaction has to be studied, and if it is unwanted, that also has to be removed, which comes under pains. And obviously you have to study about the ADME. All pharmacokinetic parameter has to pass through, and then recheck compound whether it is proper. Shall I go ahead with that compounds or not? Synthesize that compound and go for the in vitro assay. Next. This is also one approach which I showed, the combinatorial approach or the high throughput screening. See here I mentioned that when you pass the compound through the Lipinski rule of 5 or the drug likeliness filter, if 10 compounds are not falling in, it's out of that range, and that compound has to be excluded. But if you go and check the drugs available in the market, there are few drugs. There are some drugs, I'd say hardly the 60 to 65% of the drugs available in the market are following the Lipinski rule of 5, not all. Means others are not. That means which I am excluding the drugs or molecules which are not following this, I may miss a gold in that also. There may be a molecule which is really a good molecule, but as it is not following the Lipinski rule of 5, I excluded it. So for that means, otherwise I have to check the activity of all, whatever I have designed. So for this, obviously we have to follow this kind of the fragment based drug designing also. So what you do is, whatever the molecule you have generated, send all the molecules through the high throughput screening. It may be possible that the molecules, one part is showing the 40% inhibition, the other one is also showing the 40%. Both are different molecules or parent structure, but if I combine both and make a one drug, and if I check again its binding, that binding will become a perfect, and I'll get more than 80 to 85% of inhibition. So that is also a methodology which is used for new drug designing and getting the more potent molecule. It is also fragment based drug designing. Their combinatorial chemistry and high throughput screening helps. Next, please. So in short, the more recent or advancement of the new drug designing techniques. So first, when we are using bioinformatics, we are identifying the target, we are validating the target using cheminformatics, comparative drug designing, and virtual screening. We are getting the probable or possible new drug candidates. That has to be passed through the ADME also predictions, and that passes through then and then the preclinical evaluation, clinical evaluation, and then obviously the registration and the post marketing. For each and every part, you can find a black arrow where the recent advancements are introduced. So biosimulations are there, medical informatics will help to move ahead in the development part, and all other for the post marketing and marketing place of that drug can be studied. Next, please. Now the important question. This is very important slide to know what do I have, what kind of data I have, and for what kind of designing technique should I use. So two important parts of drug designing of any drug. One, you require a ligand structure, second, receptor structure or the target structure. Now, if both are unknown, ligand structure and receptor structure, both are unknown, then what we have to do? You have to generate the 3D structure of the receptor, similarity or dissimilarity, or even the homology modeling are there. You have defined the target, but the target structure is not known for the human. But for any other element, animal, or for the similar kind of, say, if you are targeting the kinase. So if for one kinase, if its structure is known, but the similar kind of kinase is not known, you can use the first kinase, check its similarity, and you can do the homology modeling and go ahead. And then if both are unknown, obviously high throughput screening and combinatorial chemistry can be a very much useful. I already discussed about that, so I'm not going to discuss same again. So now if ligand structure is unknown and receptor structure is known, then very simple active site search you have to carry out. And if it is, as I said, if ligand bound structure is there, simply remove the ligand. That will be your active site. And then receptor based drug design or SBDD you have to do. This is also called the de novo drug designing, and 3D searching field all will be done in the same software. Ligand structure is known and receptor structure is unknown. Then it is also known as LBDD. Earlier it was known as indirect type of drug designing. LBDD, as I said, you have to carry out a 2D QSAR or 3D QSAR or pharmacophore modeling or analog design can be done if receptor structure is unknown. If both are known, you can choose any. Whatever is available with you, use it properly and go ahead. One thing is very important. This drug, for drug designing, whatever we are using tools, they are tools. They are not magic stick. They are tools. You have to use it very carefully and properly. And what are the data? The output you will get as a data only, numbers, or you'll get the poses. You should have the thorough knowledge of interpreting it. Interpretation is very important. If you not interpret it properly, you may lead to a wrong path and end in the unsuccessful project. So that is very important. Next, please. This is also very important. If I have the drug candidate in hand, obviously, even I would say not after having a drug candidate, but while I am designing the drug candidate, I should take care of all this also. It's a dynamic, pharmacokinetics and dynamics are very important. Now for that, these properties of the molecules are very important. So drug has to be selective, active, it should be safe, it should have the optimum pharmacokinetics also, it should be novel, it should be soluble, it should be stable. So it's a juggling act. So if anything is missing, this act will be futile. So that is very important. Next. Now, if I take care of only the discovery part, I should have the optimum potent molecule. And if I don't take care of the property part, the dynamics, kinetics, the solubility, then what I'll do is I'll end up in the good ligand, good chemical, which is having the potent activity. I won't end up in a good drug. So to get the good drug, obviously I have to take care of activity as well as the property optimization. Then and there I will end in the a good drug. Next, please. These are the list of, see the databases available. It's not one and two. It's more than 30. Different kind of databases are available. Now, whatever the kind you want to use. See, even for the drug withdrawn, see here, the last in the first line. Drug withdrawn database is also available. You can explore that. Check why it's been withdrawn. Can I go ahead in this? You can. The most widely used are the Zinc database. Mini-Maybridge is the inbuilt database with the Discovery Studio. Then Drug Bank is there. Many are there. So different drug databases you can use for different purposes. What kind of molecules you are designing. Next, please. This is the website from where you can get the protein structure of your target, the PDB, protein data bank. So that whatever the gene structure, what are the protein structures are known, they are available there. How do I use that? Which, if there are 3 to 4 structures are of the same targets are known, which structure shall I go for? So for selecting it, obviously you first select that molecule or that protein whose resolution is very high. Resolution is good. Then second one is that protein is of the Homo sapiens, of the human. If it is available, best to use that. A third very important is if co-crystal structure is known, use that because that will make your life easier to find out the binding site. So that is very important for selecting a protein structure. Next, please. This is the website for the Zinc database, widely used and huge database it is. Can find a kind of different kind of molecules, the electrocycles, different kind of even structures and its properties. Next, please. Obviously, for designing, you will need drawing tools also. These are the draw tools, structure tools. Next, for molecular modeling, various algorithms are there. And this algorithms, as I said, after drug when bind to the target site, the target site always won't welcome drug to attach it. It will also repulse. It won't attract it, right? So the molecules which bind there with the least energy will be a proper binding or good binding. So least energy means low docking score. So these algorithms are very important for calculations of distance, various properties, changes in the mechanics of the molecule as well as the target. Next, please. This is binding site prediction. There are many softwares available. This also helps in predicting that. These are some softwares for that. Next. For docking, many softwares are available. Autodock, Veena, it's the latest one available free. Most widely used are Schrodinger's, Maestro. Then Discovery Studio is also there. Sybils is also there. So these are the software can be used. It's not needed there. Always you have to go for the software which are of a high price. No, that doesn't indicate that it is a good one. Even you can use any free one. So Autodock Veena is equally good. You can go ahead. The papers are also can be accepted. So it's Hardik bhai, hello.
Hello?
Ah,
Yes, sir. We have certain
present-
questions from the delegates. One of the
presentation.
question is in the chat box itself. If dissimilarity is there in homologous series, what next steps should be taken? If there is dissimilarity in homologous series, what next steps should be taken?
If dissimilarity is there, that means that is not going to be, you cannot move ahead with the homology. Right, then you select any other methodology. I've shown the last picture, a table in which other methodologies are there. You prefer that and go ahead in that direction.
And sir, other question is how combinatorial chemistry helps in drug designing?
Yeah, very important. See, as I said, in drug designing, if when I'm using the tools and designing it, and if I'm not interpreting it properly, that there are chances that I may miss the gold. I may miss a molecule which is really good one. So interpretation is very important. So when I'm not doing so what I'll do is, what are the hit molecule I have, I synthesize all the molecules. Right. So for synthesizing all possible derivatives molecules, combinatorial chemistry will be very useful. You can synthesize a large number of molecules of the similar type within one set. So when I'm synthesizing large number of molecules in one set of the similar type, I'm using word similar type. I can synthesize even in say few milligram or even microgram. I can use that and go for the high throughput screening. Say when I'm doing the high throughput screening, if I'm getting the activity in any one of the molecules, there I'll get the hit molecule. So for the initial part, combinatorial chemistry is also important. And in between, after designing, if I want to synthesize say around 100 molecules of similar types, there also I can use combinatorial chemistry.
So there is one question about docking. How do we perform docking?
Yeah. As I said, first important thing is to define or finalize the target and check whether its protein structure is known or not. And I also explained how to select the protein structure. So when I finalize the protein structure, which is co-crystal structure. Now co-crystal means, as I said, the protein structure where the ligand is already bound. The known ligand is already bound, right? That is called co-crystal structure. So what I'll do is, now when co-crystal structure is there, binding sites are also now known. Binding sites are known, right? So binding sites are known with a co-crystal structure. What I'll do is, I'll remove the ligand. And I'll fit that molecule which I have designed in this binding site. So inserting or binding the ligand to the binding site is known as docking. That process is known as docking, fitting the chemical structure or the ligand to the target.
In the same topic, there is a question about least docking score.
Yeah.
Is it something like that? Least docking score will have better binding?
Yes, obviously. See, as I said, there will be algorithms involved in, many algorithms are involved in, and different softwares are having the different algorithms. So what does this algorithm do? They'll check the distance between the docking, the ligand and the binding site. As I said, so each molecule, each atom's distance will be checked. Its energy will also be checked. Energy of the ligand, potential energy of the ligand, as well as the target protein structure also. So many things will be checked, converted into through equation in a score. So least score indicates the distance between the molecule, your design molecule, and the binding site is less. Less means is a perfectly fit. So less the docking score, good will be in the binding. That's what the interpretation is.
So another question is, what is the importance of binding energy in docking study?
What is the importance of?
Binding energy in docking study.
Obviously, see, when you are doing the dynamics, dynamic study is also very important. So when I do the dynamics, molecule bind to the target is not always ready to accept it. So there will be a fighting, or there will be a repulsion from the even binding side. So there will be a change in the energy, potential energy of the even molecule as well as the target, the protein. So at the end, there will be a compromise between them, and there will be a least energy, which is stable energy, which is called a binding energy.
Okay, thank you, sir, for answering all the questions. Starting with history of drug development, traditional versus rational drug development, steps involved in drug development, role of QSAR. You also emphasized on importance of database in lead identification, tools used for drug designing, virtual screening, docking mechanisms, Lipinski rule, use of bioinformatics, accurate data interpretation, and so on. Thank you, sir, for enlightening the audience about CADD. Thank you again on behalf of APC and AICTE for sparing time and being a part of EFDP.
Thank you very
With
much.
this, we